Hit them fans. Oh, welcome to the show.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, welcome to episode number 15 of Too Much Coffee. The best podcast in the whole wide world. Welcome.
My God.
Listen, if this is your first time listening, we want to thank you for checking out the show. Don't forget, we're on YouTube, Too Much Coffee. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on all that stuff. You know what to do. Follow. And let's make it happen. So look, Kevin, how are you doing today?
I am excellent.
My name is Jason. This is my co-host, Kevin.
Hello.
We're the hosts of Too Much Coffee. Welcome. We were supposed to start the show about an hour ago, and then you had some unexpected visitors. So,
Which was very nice.
it was nice because I got to try Bosnian Fanta.
Yeah.
which
is super good.
I guess Bosnia is going to have, Fanta too. Why not? But
Yeah.
I've never had Bosnia Fanta.
It was elderflower and lemon flavored
Yeah.
Fanta, which was delicious.
It's pretty good. And then we had some kind of cookie that was made out of beans.
It looked like a Japanese snack or something.
Yeah, it was 2 pieces of styrofoam with some kind of fig Newton bean paste
Yeah.
inside. But it was actually very good. The way I'm describing it makes it sound awful, but it was pretty good. So welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about, I got some movie talk. Got a couple things I've been watching we're going to talk about. I got I got another episode. All right. Let me put my head together. I'm all flustered. We had audio problems. There's a ghost in my computer or in the Procaster or something. Like, it was all set up perfectly, I thought, and then I'm recording and trying to listen back. Nothing's coming through the headphones. I don't know what's happening. I'm just assuming this is working. I really hope it is. So anyway, it's got me out of sorts. We're going to talk about movies a little bit. We got another segment of When Bands Blow It. And I'm going to be talking about, listen, I hope you like video games, because today we're talking about the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. So
That's right. We are not talking about Elden Ring. Sorry.
you know what? We'll talk about that later. We're going to talk about the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, which is one of these. This is the one I've been waiting for. But anyway, let's get into a few pieces of news first. I got a few news stories here, Kevin, I think you're going to enjoy.
I'm ready.
One of the toughest things about like recording is your atmosphere, because chair squeaks and like sounds. You mentioned there was a train on the last episode.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it while I was here, but guess what? When I was editing the show, there was a train back there. Woo woo.
Well, the good news is now you're using my open back headphones, so you'll probably hear it when it comes back around. We'll just let it pass when it comes by next time.
I put this thing on. I was looking up, crypto news and stuff, and it hit me that the word decentralized is useless now.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime, you know how it is, all of you listening, you know how it is when some word, some idea, some anything. I mean, it's a cliche that when something becomes popular, it becomes lame and passé. Well, guess what? The word decentralized is done. People have used it too much. A bunch of normal people are using it. They really don't know what they're talking about. And so it loses all meaning. It's like any other hot buzzword that you hear on the news all the time or that you hear people talking about. It's done. I'm listening to, anytime you read about a crypto project, decentralized. Oh, DeFi, decentralized. And you're like, you're really not decentralized. That's just what you say about
really.
crypto. People love the idea that things are, quote, decentralized. I don't know why, because you hate the bank and you don't want to be, subject to the government and to regulations and stuff like that. So you think decentralized is cool. I'm like lawless. I'm like an outlaw. I mean, I'm out here in decentral land. Well, guess what? If you're using Coinbase and you're using, OpenSea and all that stuff, you ain't in decentralized land. If you were in decentralized land, first of all, you'd have to read manuals to figure out how to do anything. It's a lot harder out in decentralized land.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more dangerous. Now, the reason that people don't really like decentralized is because you get scammed. Your stuff gets stolen. Decentralization means a lack of security. People centralize so that they can protect things. Now, I know that the buzzword is if something's decentralized, it's more secure. But I don't think that's true.
Well, also, I don't really know that most crypto stuff is really decentralized anyway. Because, I mean, I know it's tons of people, you know, maintaining the blockchain or whatever, but it's still like the central blockchain is like the ledger.
Any system is going to have a majority of the work being done by the minority of the people. So nothing is decentralized. There's always a concentration of power, concentration of resources, someone who can change the program. You can't be totally decentralized. You can have levels of decentralization. But I don't know. I was just reading and I thought, hey, listen, if you think I'm wrong,
libertarians love to hear.
If you think I'm wrong, tear me up on Twitter, at me, or get in the comments or something and just tell me how wrong I am, because I probably am. But I just am reading all these projects about how decentralized and blah, blah. I'm like, you're not decentralized. You're just not.
Yeah.
It's just a marketing. It's just it's a way to market. Crypto is supposed to be decentralized. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not.
I've got a story I want to read to you.
I'm ready.
And I really hope this is true because this is so great. This feels like power to the people. This is one of those stories, you know, anytime your boss has treated you like crap, if you had a bad performance review at work or you just work in a crappy place or something like that, this is what gets you jazzed up. So, again, I can't vouch for the, veracity of the story, but I like it, so I'm going to read it anyway. So, the story is, what is this from, Reddit?
Ooh, Reddit.
Yes.
Le Reddit.
This is from Reddit. It has to be true. It's on Reddit. So the story says, I'm just going to read this story. It says, I worked for a company for just under 5 years. The company I worked for existed for an additional 10 years prior to me. And while I worked for this company, it ballooned to be the #1 provider in the region for its unique service with about 75% of the market. It was a small business and it was about 15 employees. I loved my job and the skills I learned while working there were quite valuable. I loved my team and the clients we provided services for. My twice yearly reviews with the owner were always 10 out of 10 with no recommendations for improvement. I was exceptional at my job in every way, handled company operations, HR payroll, customer service, marketing, employee management, schedules, employee and client training, and many other things at this company. I was also able to step in and to do any of my teammates' job if they were sick or on vacation. The owner of the company was giving out a bonus late summer last year, and mine, while being more than previous years, was notably less than my teammates. So I asked the owner, are the bonuses related to performance? And if so, what could I have done to earn more money? Very reasonable question. Yep. Makes total sense to me. The owner replied, the bonuses are not performance related. You're just more replaceable than the others.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I replied. And so I proceeded to process each of the bonuses and went to lunch. I called my spouse to gain wisdom and advice. I was pretty lit, but didn't want to make a rash decision. This is a wise person we're dealing with here. This is a very centered, wise, calm human being. My spouse is very intelligent, and while they're not a fortune teller, they have the ability to foresee various responses and potential outcomes. They're business-wise and have been on the executive team of a large company for the past 21 years while also serving on several community boards and business advisory boards. A man of business, a man of experience. We decided together to continue forward with our scheduled vacation and use the time away to calm our minds, relax, have fun, and also determine the best course of action. We were leaving after working one more day, so I worked like it was normal and the rest of the day and the following day and left on vacation. So while we were away, we discussed several scenarios, the potential outcomes, consulted with a business advisor and a business attorney. With all the advice I received, I determined that upon my return from vacation, I would resign from my role with a 2-week notice. Very calmly planned it out, thought about it. However, in a fit of rage, I was immediately terminated by the owner.
Oh, damn.
Which was one of the scenarios we thought would happen, so I was prepared for the owner's poor reaction. During the next couple of weeks, now this is where it gets good. During the next couple of weeks, I created and opened a competing business offering similar services.
Hell yeah.
This is the sweet, see, this is the sweet part of freedom. This is the part, people like to crap on capitalism. I get it. But this is the good part of capitalism right here. So during the next couple weeks, I created and opened a competing business offering similar services. However, I offered more customizable options with higher quality service and results. I knew our clients wanted these options and had proposed said options several times at the old workplace, but was never greenlit to implement the changes for no reason other than the owner didn't come up with the idea, so he thought it was stupid. Let me adjust this.
Yeah.
I also maintained communications with a few people from my old team. My old team did not relay the day-to-day happenings at my previous workplace. This person insists they're not spying, but they did keep in touch. I could listen they did vent to me, and I would listen without comment. I knew that service quality and work environment in general suffered since my departure. Morale went down, and clients were less satisfied, and I read the reviews. Yikes! Exclamation point. Additionally, we're almost there. Additionally, 2 full-time and 1 part-time persons were hired to fill my role. Oof, that hurts the bottom line.
Yeah.
And a portion of my responsibilities, like HR and payroll, were filled by outside companies. Oof, that's a lot of money they had to pay to replace me.
Yep.
I quickly built up my business, and within 3 months was able to rehire several of my old teammates.
Oh, that's cool.
They were able to jump in on day 1 with minimal training, as they were the best employees at my old workplace. The quality of previous workplaces' offerings continued to fall, which sent additional business my way and quickly caused incoming work to be non-existent at the old workplace.
Oh, man.
My old workplace went from being the #1 provider of a unique service in the region to nothing in a matter of months. Oof. My previous employer is now searching for gainful employment.
Oh, man.
I know this because over the weekend, the owner applied to a position at my spouse's company. Side note, I think my spouse's company should bring my previous employer in for an interview, but when they arrive, surprise, I'm the interviewer, and all I say is, how replaceable am I now? And I assume she's holding a mic and drops it in the room. My spouse rightfully said, no. Moral of the story, don't tell your employees they're replaceable because they might create a competing business that's better than yours while taking your best employees and your clients, which will leave you with no business to sell. Looks like your company was replaceable, not me.
Damn. Yeah,
Woo!
that's true. Hey, treat your employees right.
Finger snaps. Oh, man, I read that, and that was like, oh, what a great story. Ow.
Yeah, don't tell your good employees that they're replaceable.
What a great story. Dope. This guy didn't know what he had. He obviously didn't know how to run his company.
Yep.
Said something stupid, ran off his best help, had to pay tons of money just to replace the woman, and then she took all the things that she learned and competed him into the dirt.
That's dope.
Dope. One for the little people. Whatever. I don't know why it's little people.
Well, now
she's probably got tons of money. I mean,
I was gonna say now she's the big people.
That's right. That's big people versus big people. It's just I just liked it. It's a cool story.
Yeah, no, it's satisfying.
All right, let me talk about. I got 3 news stories I want to talk about here before we talk about some movies. Okay.
Hey.
So you know us, we like to talk about NFTs. I got this story about. All right, so this is a story about OpenSea. Now, OpenSea sells NFTs. It's the biggest, I guess, the biggest marketplace to sell NFTs, and they're being sued for over $1 million. So let me show you this picture, Kevin. You see that?
Yeah,
one of them apes. Can't get away from them apes.
Yep.
So this says an NFT trader from Texas has filed a lawsuit. They'll get you in Texas, boy. Don't mess with Texas. An NFT trader from Texas filed a lawsuit against OpenSea saying the company was responsible when his Bored Ape image was stolen from his crypto wallet. And the trader's asking for a return of his ape and $1 million in damages. Now, I know these things sell for a lot of money.
That's a lot.
This is what I loved. I'm imagining you have to explain these things to a judge.
Yeah.
I love the idea of explaining this to a judge. What was stolen? All right, what was it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was an ape with, it was a picture of a monkey with a blue bonnet and some sunglasses on. And why is this worth $1 million? The NFT in question, Bored Ape number 3475.
Yep.
Oh, number 3,475.
Not even number 1.
has significant value according to McKimmy's lawsuit, despite the fact that it's still unclear what kind of quote-unquote ownership someone can have over an image simply because a receipt for it has been registered on a blockchain.
Yeah.
So these things have not been adjudicated. This is all new territory in the
new.
courts. Like, what is this type of ownership?
Yeah.
What do you own? What are your rights? This is being worked out right now. The stolen NFT image, which is, you can't see it, but the stolen NFT image includes traits, the lawsuit. This is what I love. I'm imagining the judge hearing this. Judge, it's rare. Why is that? Well, my picture has gold hoop earrings, sunglasses, and a wool turtleneck. Oh, also, so he points out that Justin Bieber purchased a Bored Ape for $1.3 million, or 500 ETH at the time, and that his ape has a rarity score of 53.66. And he's like, Your Honor, mine has a rarity score of 138.52.
Yeah.
Which I assume means it's way more rare than Justin Bieber's.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like,
so if the
you say that,
Bieb,
it's like, okay, explain that to me.
yeah. So if the Biebs is worth 1.3 mils, mine's got to be worth way more than that because mine's way more rare. It's like, well, unfortunately, you're not Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
It becomes more valuable because his name is Justin Bieber.
That's true.
So that's part of it. But anyway, that's the crux of the lawsuit. So his stuff got stolen. And he's like, homie, this is what somebody bought this thing for. Its rarity value was this. Mine is 125% more rare than theirs. So obviously mine's worth this much money. So there you go. I thought that was funny.
It'd be kind of interesting to see the outcome of that.
Yeah. This has all been worked out in court. Yeah. Regulations are coming. You know,
because you're really just kind of buying a receipt.
There's just too much fraud. There's too much money laundering. There's too many scams and rug pulls, and people are complaining to the Federal Trade Commission and all that stuff. So this stuff will all be regulated into the dirt. So enjoy it while you can. Enjoy the Wild West of NFTs while you can. Oh man, people are making money on NFTs right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All that shit will definitely get regulated.
Which brings me swiftly. This is a perfect segue into my man Snoop. You know we like to talk about Snoop. Snoop loves them NFTs. What you may have heard that Snoop recently purchased Death Row. So Kevin can see my computer screen right now. This is perfect.
Yes.
I'm looking at deathrowofficial.com. I thought Death Row was a full-on record label. I don't keep up with the history of Death Row. I know that.
No, I hadn't kept up with it. I kind of assumed it just died out in the 90s sometime, but I don't know.
I don't know. Now I want to look into it, but I just assumed it was still even if they didn't actively put out records, it was still an entity that owned. Well, obviously it is an entity because Snoop bought it. I just assumed they had the artists and put out. Well, anyway, it's basically SnoopDogg.com. If you go to Death Row Records, you're just going to see Snoop's new album, and you scroll. So I was scrolling through the website and said, "All right, let's see what else they got." Oh, it's just Snoop. So, and then you go, now this is what I loved. All right, there's Snoop's new album, back on Death Row.
Yeah.
DODR. So I clicked on music. You click on music, it's just a link to Snoop's new record. That's it. Oh, Death Row's just Snoop. And then you go into the shop. Now, this is what I loved. This is why I wanted to show it to you. The Snoopermarket.
Of course.
Yes, look at the little cartoon eyeballs. What I love about Snoop, I bet he pays nothing for artwork because all his artwork is so terrible. All of his album artwork, all of his T-shirt artwork, all this stuff. But for some reason, it just, I don't know why it works, but it works. But it's really bad.
He pulls it off, man.
Even though his eyeballs suck and his logo, Snoopermarket. Look at this. Snoopermarket's hottest items. First of all, you can't see this, but there's just pictures of Snoop all over the place.
Of course.
He's got his gold microphone. He's smiling with his sunglasses on, looking at some big book.
Reading a book.
Blowing out some weed smoke like he do. I love the featured products. This is what I like. So you can get a doggy style jacket with that ugly artwork from the first album, $500. What a deal. A deal, son.
I'm going to get that for myself.
You can get the Brodus Family Collection candles. Family Collection. D's Nuts. Roasting on an open fire.
Nice. Of course. Classic. There's nothing he won't do.
It says a hint of D's Nuts roasting on an open fire. It's great. Now look at this picture. Look at this. Look at from crook to
I
cook.
love it.
Snoop Dogg cookbook. The Boss's Kitchen. And it's got this Snoop is dressed like a Crip, but he's got this very welcoming face, like looking right at you with his do-rag tied on and his
of course.
And his tank top on. He's holding out something. Looks like a bowl of cereal from here. I can't tell what it is, but look at that.
Oh man, that's great. I love that. That's wonderful.
It's worth going to deathrow.com and look at the Snoopermarket just to see these pictures of him.
There's nothing the man won't do. You throw a check his way.
Look at that. Look how ugly that is. Unity. We got a Crip
That
and a
rules.
Blood, fist bumping. All right. What does that say? Once upon a time in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double J. That's about it. Just some stuff. They got some stuff with weed on it.
Of course.
There's a hoodie, doggy style hoodie for $93 Rinos.
Somebody should buy me that doggy style hoodie. I'll wear it every.
That would be hilarious if you just wore it all the time, everywhere you went.
Come over to mom and dad's house with that.
I got down this rabbit hole because there's a story about Snoop Dogg selling NFTs. It's called the Stash Box. He sold $45 million in 6 days.
I believe it. How much they cost a piece?
$25,000.
Oh, yeah.
So he hasn't sold. I think there are 5,000 of them. He hasn't sold out yet. If he sold them all, he'd make over $100 million. But he made $45 million in 6 days, and you get that. You see, that's what it looks like. That,
yeah.
And you get one track from the new album, and you get other stuff. Like you can get like special concert and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. And I don't know, but that's just like, man, these guys selling these NFTs are just killing it. But
yeah,
I also ran into this, and you saw this.
Yeah.
So you click on the music. You're in the Snoopermarket. You're looking at the music, and all of a sudden there's a Bible. It's like, what is it? Oh, let me look at this. This was the context. Okay, you click on the music page. Here's a stormtrooper smoking a giant blunt, or smoking a joint. Snoop looking hoard and some like bandana looking flower thing, and then this guy down here with two hoes. She's holding her top is down. She's holding her TTs. Okay, her
TTs.
Hers look. She's being censored with a little sticker here, but her tit's out. This guy's got his hand on her ash right there. And then next to that, a picture of the Holy Bible with the hands praying. It said, Snoop Dogg presents the Bible of love. I'm like, what is this?
Hey, man.
Look at this. You have to see it in its proper setting.
Yeah.
Surrounded by all this gangster stuff and smoking weed and tits out. And then bam, Snoop Dogg presents the Bible of love, baby. So I clicked on this. Like, what is this? It's just gospel music. Snoop Dogg's gospel music.
Well, he did play organ in church when he was younger, I think.
Woo! The man does everything and can do everything.
That's true.
Nobody can stop
That's what I'm
him.
saying.
Nobody can stop Snoop. He can do everything. Everything. Incredible. All right. One more little piece. I'm gonna buy that album. Not
the limited edition.
One more little thing, one more news item we'll talk about, and then we'll get on to we'll talk about some movie stuff. So this Weird Al biopic is coming out with the first picture of what's his face,
Daniel Radcliffe. I saw it. It's great.
This thing is the first picture of him wearing the Hawaiian shirt. It came out on Instagram. Weird Al sent it out on Instagram. And the caption is so good. It said, I'm absolutely thrilled. No. That's not the one I want. Where is it? Daniel Radcliffe said this. Here it is. It said, wearing the Hawaiian shirt is a huge responsibility I don't take lightly, Daniel expressed. I'm honored to finally share with the world the absolutely 100% unassailably true story of Weird Al's depraved and scandalous life. I'm reading this and I'm thinking this guy 100% gets it. He gets it.
Yes.
This is going to be great. Ready. He understands Weird Al. And this movie's not going to be out for a while because they're just now starting to film it. It's going to be a while. But I did watch a little UHF. But I don't know, because I'm reading this in the news, and now I'm thinking about Weird Al, and I remember that movie came out. It's like, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and I was watching it. And I guess it's terrible, but it...
Oh, no, that movie's great.
I guess it's terrible.
Gold. I love it.
Let's be honest, it's a terrible movie.
No, it's not. It's so good. I love it. You can't talk shit about UHF.
I was reading about it. So after Weird Al's second album came out, him and his manager were like, we need something else cool for you to get into. And they're like, well, let's do a movie. So him and his manager wrote this movie, and they start shopping it around. They're shopping it around for 3 years. Nobody wants to make it.
Yeah.
And they finally found someone who's like, look, we'll do it if you can bring it in under $5 million. And they're like, yeah, fine. So they made the movie. And, you know, many different things, you know, coalesced to turn this into a total bomb in the movie theater. It bombed hard.
Yeah.
Like, and you couldn't even buy a copy of it for a long time.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in print. So the movie came out, it bombs, makes no money. It's a failure, disappears off the face of the planet, and actually sort of becomes a cult hit. People are looking for copies, like, I don't know, like bootleg copies, like to buy a copy that somebody has. And the price gets up. Like it got expensive at one point because you couldn't find it.
Yeah. I don't think I knew that actually, but that's fascinating.
So it turned into like a cult hit, like a cult classic. And then they put it back out finally in 2002. And so you can go on, what did I watch it on? Prime? HBO Max? One of the two.
Yeah.
I think I watched it on the Prime Video.
You're a Chad like me. I have the DVD.
Chad movie.
With the commentary.
So I haven't finished it yet. I've watched about half of it so far, but I mean, it's one of those movies that's probably terrible, but I love it.
I love it so
much.
And
I laugh at it so hard. Gene Siskel gave it 0. He gave it a rating of 0. And Ebert said that, you know, like Weird Al had no charisma, and could not carry a movie, and that none of the jokes landed. It wasn't funny. It's like, yeah, I guess. Lies, dishonest lies, cope.
Watch the Spatula City sketch and fucking tell me.
Spatula City. They're like eating dinner. And like, where do you want to go? Let's go to Spatula. Oh, she didn't have a spatula.
Yeah.
Let's go to Spatula City.
Oh, they're so excited about it.
And just dumb little things like he's depressed.
Conan the librarian.
Actually, I was watching it earlier. My kid was in the room, and I had to stop it there because I knew it was coming up.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember how gross it was, but Conan the librarian, somebody's talking, and he cuts him in half.
Yep. You get the scene with Emo Phillips.
Don't you know the doing that's about to stop?
These books are a little overdue. And he just cuts the guy.
It's so good. He falls asleep, and then he does like an 80s remix of the Beverly Hillbillies theme song.
Oh, yeah, like that Dire Straits song.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And he goes to the bar, and he orders a blueberry daiquiri.
Yep.
But I love the
ridiculous
part.
Cup.
I've told you this many times, but my favorite part might be Stanley Spadowski shooting that kid in the face with a fire hose.
Yeah. Love it.
He found the marble in the oatmeal. Guess what you win? What? You get to drink from the fire hose. And this you just have to see it. Anyway, it's probably terrible. You'll probably hate it. But guess what? For those of us who are anointed, those of us who are special and chosen, it's just a great movie.
Yes,
it's
true.
Fantastic. And it gets you in the mood. I'm getting ready to watch that biopic.
I've watched it many times. I'll probably watch it again in the near future.
It's great. I love it. All right, let's talk about a show and a movie. So I've been watching The Queen's Gambit. All right. Some people kept telling me to watch it.
I've heard lots of good things, but I haven't watched it.
It was a little bit of a letdown. So I'm not done, but part of it was a letdown in a way because I thought it was an actual story about a real woman who played chess in the 60s.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's a made up person,
okay.
Which is fine. It's still good. It's actually a very good show, but it's based on a novel.
Oh, interesting.
It's fine. But I guess I just assumed everything about it made me think, oh, this is just like some story about
it's like a biopic or
incredible woman chess player. But it's sad because this woman is, she's orphaned as a kid, like her mom was a mess, and she ends up as an orphan, and she ends up learning how to play chess from the guy in the basement. Like she stays at this girls' orphanage, basically. Yeah. They give the kids tranquilizers. This is the 60s. They give the kids tranquilizers.
It sounds very
every day,
century, yeah.
Every day the kids line up. Now this girl was like 9 years old or something at the time. So all the girls line up. It's her first day. All the kids line up in front of the window, and the orderly in the white, clothes. Yeah. They're giving them all a cup, and they take the cup, throw it back, and they exit the line. So she comes up to her turn. She takes the cup. There's a brown pill and like a greenish kind of pill. Yeah. She's like, what's this? And they say one is a vitamin and one is I don't think they called it a tranquilizer, but
Yeah.
that's what it was. You know, just to make you behave.
Barbiturate.
Yeah, just to even,
Yeah.
you know, just to make the kids behave.
Yeah.
So every day she takes one.
Yeah. It's
And
insane.
then one day they say one day she's in line and she goes up to the front and they only give her the vitamin and she's like, well, where's the other one? They're like, oh, the state says we can't give you those anymore. So now she's cut off, but she's already sort of addicted to them.
Yeah.
Like
I believe
almost
it.
like a junkie almost at this point. And it carries on through the rest of her life because her adopted mother is also, she an alcoholic? She may not be an alcoholic, but she's a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
So anyway, she takes on these traits, but I've always thought chess is an interesting game and it's a fun game. I like to play chess. It's cool. It's a good story. I like it. It's enjoyable. The lead actress is interesting because her eyes are too far apart.
Yeah.
She's got bright red hair.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Do you know her from something else?
I don't know why I know her name, but I do know her name. Yeah.
Recommended. Good show.
I didn't watch The Queen's Gambit, but I did rewatch all of C-Lab 2021 recently, which is very good.
That's such a great show.
Yes.
Every time you talk about a good show, I want to do like a commentary track, like Red Letter Media does for movies. They did one for Gremlins. They did one for, I think they did at least one of the Star Wars prequel movies.
Yeah.
They've done several. And you can't even hear the movie. You just hear them talking about
you
it.
just play,
it takes the highlights.
I guess presumably you just play the movie over. It's like riff tracks. You play the movie over it, and then you just listen to it.
And that's what I want to do every time we
can
talk
do a
about
commentary on the commentary of UHF.
There you go. I bet that's good too. And then I watched Fist Fight, which is not a new movie, but you know, I was on that show, The Masked Debaters.
Yeah.
Which they were making fun of their own name while we were on the show.
Yeah.
Shout outs to those guys. They were great. I didn't know what I was getting into, you know, because their screen is always full of people.
Yeah.
That show, the Masked Debaters show, there's always like 5, 6 people on screen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I watched some of it. It was just like a big screen full of people. And you were in one of them. Yeah.
And we were talking about the best actors. And what stinks is I had to go first. I wish I'd gone last really? Because I just didn't feel like it's a new show. That was the first time I've ever been a guest on another podcast.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't, I needed a few minutes just to get into the vibe, into the groove. And so like, all right, Jason, you're the guest, you go first. Oh God. So they probably thought I was an idiot because my first, you know, my defense of why Ice Cube was the best actor slash movie star, like rapper turned movie star was not, you know, particularly good. I don't think. Like it took me like 30 seconds to say it. It's like, that's it. I'm done. Yeah. But then I got into the groove of it after that. But anyway,
yeah. You just kind of put it on the spot at the beginning. You're like, oh, I didn't expect to go first.
Part of my preparation for that show was checking out stuff that Ice Cube did. So I watched this movie Fist Fight, which I had never heard of.
That name, when you say that name, it sounds familiar to me, but I can't think of what it is.
It's from 2017. All right, the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know that movie, that show?
Yes.
Obviously.
Oh wait, this is now starting to ring a bell a little bit.
They're school teachers. Ice Cube is a school teacher. He's like a history teacher, and Charlie Day. Well, that's his name on It's Always Sunny. His real name's like
I think his name's Charlie Day in real life.
No, that is his name. Yeah, in the show, he's like, was it something Martin? It doesn't matter.
It's Charlie
Day is the actor's
I know
name.
who you're talking about, yeah. And
he's a teacher.
Now. I remember seeing the trailers for it.
He's a teacher. Ice Cube's a teacher. Stuff happens, and basically Ice Cube puts those eyebrows together, and he's like, that's it. After school, me and you fighting. He's like, what? What are you talking about? Me and you after school in the parking lot. I'll meet you there. And so the whole show is just him trying to deal with this.
Yeah.
He's not if you know this guy, you know, everybody knows who this is. Charlie Day. You know who he is. Google him right now. If you don't, just grab your phone, whatever you're doing, just take a second, quit coding for a second, quit whatever you're doing at work. Just stop for a second and type it in, Charlie Day. You'll see what I'm talking about. Not exactly a physically imposing individual.
Yeah.
So he's afraid that Ice Cube's going to beat him into a pulp. Which he should be.
Yeah.
And anyway, the whole movie is just about him dealing with that. And it's got that girl from Workaholics. You know the one. And I don't know her name in the show. She's no, not the boss.
Jillian.
Yes.
Yeah, Jillian.
Yeah, the coworker.
Yeah.
She plays that role in everything she does. She's just her.
It's just great set of
If
actors.
you've seen Workaholics,
Yeah.
that's her. She's that in everything she ever plays. But in a way, it always takes me out of the movie because she's never believable as a human being.
Yeah.
But she's also very funny.
Yeah, no, I love her. She's
So
great.
it was good. The movie was pretty funny. It was so over the top. And if you don't like movies with a lot of cursing, you will not like this one because they are dropping it left and right. F this and F that, baby.
Hey, that's just how I talk on a daily basis.
Yeah, right. And then one more thing real quick. So everybody remembers those Jack Reacher movies, I guess. I watched a little bit of that Jack Reacher series on Prime.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
Really? I've never seen any of them.
This dude is a monster.
I'm outside of the loop. I never watched anything.
Who cares? I mean, really, who cares? And I'd never heard of those books. And I guess people like the books. Like they sell a lot. But Jack Reacher is this series of books. The author's name is Lee Childs. I've never read one. They're sort of like imagine this big monster giant dude who's also a brilliant detective, who's also like a hobo vagabond, Rambo 1 style.
Nice.
Just some guy that's wandering around and just ends up involved in all these detective stories. That's what it's like.
I'm sold.
The number one word that comes to mind about the show, and I bet it applies to the books too, is contrived. Everything is contrived. Like these things just happen. Now, whatever. And maybe it's worth it to tell a good story. If you're just like a guy, I just want to tell the story about this guy who wanders around, looks like a hobo, but can tear your throat out in 2 seconds, and he's brilliant and likes to solve crimes. I just want to make that happen. Who cares about the other stuff? All right.
I mean, fair enough.
Fair enough. But it's contrived.
Yeah.
And the show is contrived. Like things just happen okay.
How convenient.
Okay. Yes. How convenient. Oh, wow. Amazing. Okay. Oh, you go out there and you just happen to meet these guys and you get in this fight. Oh, the person who died just happened to be, I won't spoil anything if anybody decides to watch the show. But the acting is not good. And they take pains to make you, oh, by the way, just in case you got people viewing the show didn't realize it, this guy's really big. So many scenes in the first episode or two, that the scene was designed to reinforce, hey, this is a big guy. Yeah, I got it.
Which is funny because
huge.
Tom Cruise isn't a big dude in real life. I don't
The
think.
show is somebody else.
Oh, is it?
The
Okay.
movies were Tom Cruise. Now, that was part
gotcha.
of, now, see, I knew nothing about the character.
Yeah.
In the book, he's like 6'5", 250.
Yeah.
You've all seen Tom Cruise. He ain't 6'5".
No, he's like
Now, the guy in the
5'5".
show, he's 6'5", 250. He's he's a monster of a human being.
I didn't know they made a show
He's
of
an
it.
absolute train of a human being. So the show stinks, and I stopped watching it. And then for some reason, I was like, the baby was asleep, and I had nothing to do, so I turned it back on, and I started to get sucked into it anyway.
It's starting to work on you.
It's sort of like Stockholm syndrome, where you just learn to accept your situation and you love your captor.
Yeah.
You're held hostage and you just fall in love with the
That's the ideal viewing scenario.
You form a dependent relationship with.
Yeah.
I don't love the show that much, but it does suck you in. It's like, oh well, now I want to see this guy kick some more people's, beat some more people up. That was pretty cool. Yeah. He always finds a way to get into a situation where somebody's getting beat up.
It's made for you to not think about it too much. You just
it's just a guy who wants to write a story about this Rambo detective who beats people up. It's like I get it. I get the appeal.
Yeah. Hey,
you know what you want to
do.
Anyway,
I respect the intent.
Not recommended, but hey, you might get into it if you watch it.
Look, if anything we just said appeals you, you should just go watch it. I guess.
My taste,
You'll know.
I feel like, and this may be true of everybody, but I feel like my taste runs counter to the majority opinion. So if I didn't like it, you probably will like it. How about that? That's the way I felt about that Mad Max movie, which I'm going to watch again to see if I was wrong about that. All right. We're going to talk about this game, and then we're going to have one more Bands Blow It.
Ooh.
And we're going to call it an episode. But I've got to talk to you about this Pixel Remaster. By the way, if you're listening to the show on YouTube, go ahead and click that like button. All right?
That's right.
If you leave a comment, you get very good karma.
Ooh.
The Lord sees what you do.
That's right.
He sees the secret things that you do. He sees everything. And when you click the like button on a video and when you leave a comment, he sees it.
That's right.
You're laying up treasures for yourself.
St. Peter's got a list of all the of all the comments you left and all the likes videos you liked.
When you see a,
so just
when
give
you
this
see,
one. You'll
when
get
you
an extra
see
point.
Yeah, when you see a YouTuber with 1 million subs and a video with 800,000 views, and there are 50,000 likes, St. Peter's got a list of those 50,000 likes. He knows. He knows.
True.
So lay up some treasure for yourself. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I got to talk to you about Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. Listen, if you don't like games, I don't know what to tell you, but I think this will be entertaining anyway, okay? Sure, if you're listening to this show, you know what Final Fantasy is.
Of course.
And you know, you play video games, you know.
Yeah.
But if you don't, just bear with me for a second, okay? So, Final Fantasy 1, Nintendo. I'm old enough to have played that game when it came out. It had a sweet box art. Yeah. I still can picture the big shield with the crossed axe and the sword, and there's like a city in the middle of the. It was just awesome. It was like I think it was a world with a shield in it. It was all kinds of cool stuff going on. But Final Fantasy 1, I played that as I was growing up. 2 and 3 didn't come out here. Part 4 came out as Part 3 in the United States. Part 6 came out as Part 3 in the United States. Yeah. So we missed a bunch of the Japanese ones. Now you could play those on ROMs, emulators, if you wanted to, and I did. I didn't play them enough to beat them. I played Final Fantasy 2. I played Final Fantasy 3 on the NES. I played Final Fantasy 5 on the Super Nintendo through ROMs, and then they released them on like the PlayStation and all kind of stuff like that. But the Pixel remasters, they PC releases of all these games remastered with pixel graphics. So they retain a lot of. So what they do is they retain basically the visual identities of the original game, but they all are unified in style.
Yeah.
And they have the music is all remade, so it sounds excellent.
Yeah.
The music is all good. It's worth playing the games just to listen to the soundtracks. They're so good. And to me, if you want to play any of these Final Fantasy games, these are the best ways to play the games. The graphics are so good. The music is so good. And they have all the quality of life stuff there. You know, like, you play those old Nintendo games, there's so much information you don't have while you're playing. It makes it hard.
True.
And you can only save in a town, and it's just... And the games are buggy as heck.
And I haven't played them much, but I did play the first one and the fourth one a little bit, and they're very good.
Those old games are buggy as heck.
Yep.
If you play the game the way you think it should work, half the spells don't work. Half of the, like the attributes don't work.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2.
And it's fascinating how that stuff like makes it through.
For instance, Final Fantasy 1, I won't get into the weeds too much, but just one example. Final Fantasy 1, your intelligence stat affects your magic power. So as you gain levels, as your intelligence goes up, your magic power goes up because your intelligence goes up. That totally didn't work in the first game.
Yeah.
So whatever damage you did with the spell when you bought it, that's what it was going to do at the last boss.
Yeah.
So it just messed it. Think of how much that messes up the whole game.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. All that's fixed in these new versions. And these games are so much more playable. You can save them anywhere. Here's what I like. Those games are hard. Some of those games are really hard.
Yeah.
The game quick saves for you in every room.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So if you fight, all right, for instance, in Final Fantasy 3, the Pixel Remaster, I was playing it. I got to the very last dungeon, which, by the way, ridiculously hard to even get that. It's ridiculous how hard the end of that game is. Last dungeon, I go straight up to the last boss. He does one move. It does so much damage that there is, no possibility I could gain 20 levels and never take that much damage. Yeah. And I'm just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Because I was fine otherwise. It's like, what just happened?
You're just like, oh, well, I guess that's it.
Well, it turns out you don't go straight up. You have to go to these rooms in the corners and do these 4 other things to weaken the boss first. Now, if I was playing it on the NES, I would have had to done this entire monstrous. I would have been hours of my time gone. But because this version does a quick save in every room, I could just restart that area. And that's just saving my time. Okay, I have kids and a job. I don't have time to spend hours going through a stupid dungeon because I got through the dungeon already. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
I just need to fix the one thing I did wrong. So that's what I love about these Pixel remasters. They're so good. They fix the games. The graphics are good. And the music is so good because the music in those games was good anyway. And these redone versions of the music, they're stylish, but they are close enough to the original game that you feel like they are, they're not remixing. They're not changing it in a way that is offensive to the original tunes.
No, they're really good.
Very good.
And the graphics are kind of odd. They for some reason they remind me of old like 90s DOS games.
Yes.
Like Jill of the Jungle or something
the
like that.
pixels are huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet there's more color.
Yeah.
And they have these effects that are interesting sometimes, like this water shining effect. The effect on the water, which looks really cool. And of course you could never do anything like that on a Super Nintendo. No way.
True.
So I played all the Pixel remasters, 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent games. Loved them all, beat them all. Played part 5. I have never been able to play part 5. People say they love it.
Yeah.
It's their favorite. I don't get it. Somewhere, like, I don't know, probably a third of the way through, I just completely lose interest with that game, and I cannot beat it. I can't, just because I get so bored with it. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. It stinks. Yeah. Actually, I do know exactly what I don't like about it, and I could talk to you about it for 45 minutes, but I'll spare you.
Well, I need to play it sometime.
It's simplistic in the worst way. The story is just awful.
Yeah.
After playing Final Fantasy IV with the plus the music does not. The music of Final Fantasy IV was so good. Then you go to Final Fantasy V, you're like, what is this? This is a step backwards. What is this, Nintendo again? And the story is simplistic. You're like, am I playing Final Fantasy II? What is this? I thought this was 5. We're going backwards. And you get all these job classes, but you're not able to learn enough skills to make, like, I can do my abilities with these jobs are so limited. It's irritating. And I think it's just the story though, mainly. The story just stinks. Who cares about the fighting mechanics? It's just the story does not engage me on any level. Everything is contrived, which there's a lot of that in the games anyway, but so I played 5 but couldn't finish it. But then part 6 comes out. Now that's the one I'm looking at. It's arguably the best Final Fantasy game ever released. I mean, you could say that for many of the games.
Yeah.
But you can make an argument that part 6 is the best one ever. And certainly it's a lot of people's favorite ever. It's a great game.
Yeah.
I probably haven't played it since I was a kid, but I played a lot of it when I was a kid. So I was really excited when this thing came out. It finally came out. I don't know if it was like yesterday or the day before, but it's finally out. So I've only played an hour so far, but so good.
You knew they had to do that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually delayed the release because they spent a little extra time polishing it up. They were like, yeah, we got to make sure this one is extra good.
For sure.
So, I mean, the graphics both look the same, but are a little better.
Yeah.
It's weird because in a way they're more pixelated than the Super Nintendo was.
Yeah.
But also the resolution is better and you have more colors.
Yeah, I was going to say you have a little more
you're
not limited.
It's an odd art style in a way,
yeah.
but the characters actually end up being more detailed. Like Kefka, I can actually tell what Kefka looks like. I could not in the SNES, really. It just looked like weirdness.
Yeah.
But anyway, the game is so good so far. The music is so good. And I can't wait to play the rest of it.
Yeah. It was sort of interesting little time there for Square, I guess, because, it was right before 7. 7, the first 3D game, looks rough and hideous, the original one. But 6 was like the very peak of their pixel art games.
Peak pixel, yeah.
I thought that's part of the reason why it's remembered so fondly in a way.
Yeah, because 7 was the beginning of the polygon art.
Yeah, they were doing a whole
like you said, it was rough because they were learning it.
But 6, they had done,
But 6 was a mastery of a style they had been using, for more than a decade. More than a decade? When did about a decade?
Yeah, I don't know when.
Final Fantasy was like what, 97, something like that.
Final Fantasy.
I think the first Final Fantasy came out in like 87, somewhere like that. So,
probably like 8 years.
About a decade, 8 years, something like that. So.
But regardless, they'd made 5 of them before. So
those games are highly recommended. They're the best way to play those games. Forget about, whatever. If you want to see the original versions in the NES or whatever, do that if you want to. But if you just want to play a game and have fun and enjoy it, these Pixel Remaster versions are the best way to play it, period. Yeah. Hands down. They're all so good. For some reason, the file is a gig. This game fit on a Super Nintendo cartridge.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they've got CD audio. They've got bestiary with hundreds of high quality images of all that. I mean, just that would be huge.
Yeah.
But the game was a gigabyte.
Yeah. I guess that's what did it. Who knows why?
Anyway, Final Fantasy stinks. All right. Final Fantasy 5 stinks is what I meant to say. 5 stinks.
That's going to be your most controversial take. That'll be the one you get engaged
Tell me why
on.
I'm wrong. I would love it. All right, let's finish up with a new segment of When Bands Blow It.
Hey.
You blew it. You had it all and you blew it.
So if you're new, we talk about bands who you've watched behind the music, you've watched all these stories. Bands get big, but for some reason, interband tensions or substance abuse problems or too much money or getting ripped off, whatever, they blow it. Somehow they blow it. Now what we're looking for is an instant of a band blowing it. Yep. What we have here is a band called Fear.
Classic punk band.
Have you ever heard of Fear? Probably not. Now, if you watched Decline of Western Civilization, you may have seen them. That was that, and the story that we're going to tell here maybe have been the height of their fame.
I think they were the last band on that movie, actually.
If you don't know, that's a documentary about like punk bands.
Yes, indeed.
Which you should watch. It's good. This is a band from California called Fear. They were. It's a punk. Look, it's a punk band. You know what punk sounds like?
Yep.
It's aggressive. It's hard. You got the fans are terrible, like punching each other in the pit. And these guys
in the 80s especially.
Yeah. Oh yes. I'm sorry.
80s
We are talking about early 80s, late 70s punk. Okay.
Yeah.
Hardcore punk. Think about it. Screaming into a mic, spit going everywhere. You know, your guitarist is probably in an ugly grandma dress. And your lead singer has probably got no shirt on, but shredded for some reason.
And if you're talking in LA in the 80s, sometimes it was just like gangs at these shows who were just beating people up.
Beating each other up. This is the kind of group we're talking about. So John Belushi from Saturday Night Live, he was not on the show anymore, but he loved this band. And he wanted to help them become successful. So he was working on a movie. He pulls some strings. He gets a song of theirs on the movie. But the studio was like, we're not doing that. And they get cut. The song gets cut out of the movie. So Belushi loves the band and he feels really bad. So he's like, look, I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to get you on Saturday Night Live. Just that thought is hilarious.
Yeah.
This punk band.
I love it.
Pop punk, I get that. Green Day, yeah, of course. But Fear on Saturday Night Live, hilarious. So Belushi says, look, I got some pull. I'm John Belushi. And he says, I'm going to get you on the show. So he talks to Saturday Night Live. He says, look, he wasn't on the show at the time, but he says, I will come on and host. The show was one of those times when the show was struggling, as it does from time to time. Ratings were not good. He says, I'll come on and host. You'll get a bump, but you got to let my boys play on the show.
Yep.
And they work it out, and Fear plays on Saturday Night Live. So what you should do, just go to YouTube and look this up. Just type in Fear music. It'll be the first video that pops up probably, and it's their set on Saturday Night Live. What happened was Belushi had some fans bust into the show, but he was expecting like 15 people, like 40, 50 people show up. So you've basically got this ready-made mosh pit ready to watch the band. The guys start playing. You know, what do they want? The way punks do.
Beef, 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 beef bologna.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, that kind of music. They're just hitting it hard. It's so funny because, all right, they start playing. The moshing starts immediately. People are jumping on the stage.
Hell yeah.
Smashing into this guy's microphone. He can't even sing. He keeps coming to adjust his microphone.
Yeah.
His guitar, I think his guitar I think he's playing a bass. Is he playing the bass, the lead singer?
I don't think he plays bass. He plays guitar.
Whatever he was playing, it doesn't matter. He drops it, and he's like, screw it. Somebody knocks the guitar out of his hand or something. He just leaves it on the ground and picks up the microphone and starts singing. You can't even hear the difference when he's not playing. But they're moshing, they get knocked around, smashed around. They play like 4 songs in the space of 5 minutes. That's punk, baby.
Hell yeah.
And these are punk songs, so they're like, you know, they sound like punk songs. And these guys are freaking out and they're tearing at the studio. Some guy throws a pumpkin. They're breaking equipment. They're breaking microphones. One guy grabs the microphone. I think a fan grabs the microphone and starts yelling curse words like the F words. This is live. You can't do that live. That's not good.
Yeah.
It was so bad that, let me read this part. The punk fans became unhinged, breaking production equipment, throwing a pumpkin into the chest of SNL producer Dick Ebersol, and in one particularly chaotic moment, grabbing a microphone and screaming expletives on live TV. The latter offense was the final straw, and the network cut away to a pre-recorded Eddie Murphy sketch.
There we go.
The main NBC guy was at home watching with his wife and freaked out, called the station, says, "Go to stock footage. Cut, cut, cut." Freaking out. This guy's yelling the F word on to moms and grandpas and
awesome.
whoever. So, have you ever heard of Fear? Well, guess what? This is probably why.
Here you go. You should look them up.
Fans from
They're
the
great.
show, they just couldn't play nice. They got these chances. John Belushi was going to put him on this album. The guy didn't even want to sing on his own song on the show, like the movie that they were going to be on. He didn't even want to sing on the song. He's like, "This has nothing to do with me, so I don't even want to sing on it." It's like, oh, dude. And they get this chance to be in front of millions of people on television, and they blow it.
Well, did they blow it? We're talking about it now.
Yeah. How much money do you think that band made playing music? When bands
no
blew it.
You blew it. You had it all and you blew it.
All right. Folks, that's going to be the show. Thank you so much. Listen, as always, we appreciate a like and we appreciate a subscribe and a follow. Spotify, Podchaser, whatever you're using, we appreciate it. We're building a movement here, okay? We're all having fun on this show. The show's growing, and we need your help to get the word out. So thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what you think about. You play Final Fantasy? What you think about that? Huh? You ever seen Fist Fight with Ice Cube? Did you like it? Was it funny? Have you ever got ripped off? Has your NFT ever been stolen? Tell us about that.
Have you watched Decline of the Western Civilization? What's your favorite band?
What'd you think? So think about that. That's your homework. We'll see you next time.